Hello and welcome to tonight's production of Hit the Bricks Episode 1. Our show is intended for all ages, but may portray scenes that are rather intense for some audience members. You can find a full list of content warnings as well as transcripts at hitthebricks.com.
Thank you for walking me back, Wallace.
It's no trouble at all. Are you okay? You still seem quiet.
Yeah. I'm just not used to the Kansas winter wind yet. And I just don't know what I'm gonna tell Mom.
What's there to explain? Your homeroom teacher gave you detention over an accident.
Mom's never going to believe that I accidentally made Trixie's lunch table collapse on top of her.
Well, it was an accident. Wasn't it?
I'm not sure. I mean, I knew it was collapsible, but...
Well, I'll never forget the way her feet were kicking out from under the table. But really, thank you. No one's ever done anything like that for me before.
That's what family's for. Besides, you and Aunt Linda helped us find a new place on such short notice.
I thought you hated it.
I do. I live in an attic with a doorknob that pops out of the door, but it's still a house. You helped us move, you helped us unpack, and you're still doing stuff. I mean, your mom looked like she was going to be working on my mom's baby shower all night.
That's what family's for. So, aside from school, are you okay? Do you want to talk about the...
No. But there is something that's been on my mind. That little abandoned farm on the condemned lot. The one on the way to school?
Oh, 433 Prospect Place. Yeah, it's creepy, huh?
No, it's not creepy. Just kind of sad. It's almost like there's something about it that won't let go of me. And I swear there was something glowing in the yard and... Never mind. It's silly.
Well, I can go through the paper's archives and see if there's anything there.
That seems like too much trouble. But thank you.
Oh, before you go inside here, I made this for you today.
Is this a drawing of me? I like it a lot.
Well, I took some liberties, but I think it captures your valiant spirit. I hope Aunt Matilda appreciates how brave you are.
Well, I guess I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll meet you at the bus stop. Jessie?
Yeah?
For what it's worth, I'm really glad that you're here.
Night, Wallace.
Jessica?
Yeah, Mom.
I just got off the phone with your principal.
Here we go.
Honey, I know you're in a tough spot, but it was your first day.
Mom, it was a huge accident. The teacher hated me, and that girl was picking on Wallace.
Why did you have to say anything to her? You should have just gone straight to the principal.
I talked to Principal Hamilton right after, and she waived the detention. Mom, this wasn't a big deal.
Look, I talked to Bill.
What? How could you call him?
Because, Jessica, he is still your father, and he thinks you leaving San Francisco was a mistake. And frankly, I'm starting to agree with him.
Well, it's a little late for him to be playing Father Goose, and it's a little late for you to act like I had a choice.
I did not make you move here with me.
You didn't have to. How could I let you raise the baby alone? How could I pick Dad after what he did? How could you still talk to him like nothing happened?
What do you want me to say, Jessica? You want me to tell you that I'm totally heartbroken? That I wake up an hour early every day just to talk myself into getting out of bed?
I want you to tell me that it's okay that I'm mad. I want you to realize that now it's just us. I don't have Dad anymore, and I don't even have most of my friends.
That's ridiculous. Your friend...
We're on the soccer team. They all blame me for Coach Mike getting fired. I haven't even heard from Louise.
Oh, Jessie.
You're right, Mom. Maybe I shouldn't have said anything to that brat picking on Wallace. Just like I shouldn't have said anything when I saw Dad kissing Coach Mike.
Incoming call from Dad.
Ugh! Goodbye for now. Wish I could talk, but I don't know how. I don't know what you want from me. I blew up your life. Or maybe you blew up mine. I can't talk about that now. Goodbye for now. To these feelings bubbling out. I don't know what to do with them except pushing them down. This probably won't end well. I can't think about that now. Oh, can I start over now? Old wounds in a new house doesn't feel safe and sound to lay roots on shifting ground. Building what I know will only fall away. How do I know I'll stay? Can I start over now? I want to, but I don't know how. What time is it? Where's my phone? Oh no! I overslept! Mom? Mom? Right. She went in early today. I gotta catch the bus! No. Okay. Please tell me my bike is off the van. Yes! Okay! Maybe I can still make it. I'm gonna make it! Broken axle! In the middle of nowhere, too. Wait. It's that house again. Something is glowing. I knew I wasn't dreaming that.
Jessie!
Ah! Wallace! You gave me a heart attack. What are you doing out here?
I saw you weren't at the bus stop, so I ran back home and I got my scooter in case you needed help finding the way.
Oh, Wallace. That's so sweet. Not a bike person?
And they creep me out for some reason. Aw, man. Looks like you hit the pothole pretty good. Right in front of your favorite place, too.
Yeah. The old farmhouse is still bumming me out.
Well, I actually did some research last night. This place is totally haunted.
What?
Oh yeah, 100 years ago, this little girl used to live on this land in a little farmhouse with her family. One day a tornado blew through here and picked up the house with the girl trapped inside. Her family built a new house, this one right here, and mourned the girl. But then she came back. And then she disappeared again and kept coming back. Finally, the last time she vanished, she took her family with her and no one ever saw them again.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Who would ever come back here if they got spirited away somewhere else? Look! There's that shine I told you about.
Jesse?
What on earth?
What is it?
It's some kind of jeweled bracelet.
What? Is it real?
Of course not. Why would anybody leave a
What was that?
reminder that we should be leaving? Come on, I'm in enough trouble.
Jesse, are you okay?
Yeah. What's going on?
I don't know. What is that?
That appears to be a twister made of snow and light.
But, is that even possible?
I don't think so, but it's happening anyway, and we're just gonna have to deal with it. Find shelter.
The storm cellar won't budge.
The house is locked too. Ah!
Jesse! Hold on! I got you!
Wallace? Wallace?
I'm okay. Are you alright?
Yeah. I'm fine. More scared than anything. The storm must have thrown us into that house.
No, I don't think so. That was a 2-story place. This is 1 floor. Look, you can see through the hole we made in the roof.
Well, let's get out of here. It's locked. And I don't have service. Can you try?
My phone must have fallen out in the storm.
It's stuck. And the shutters outside the broken glass won't move.
Here either. What is going on?
Maybe if I had a running start.
Jesse, wait!
Ouch. Wallace, look. The bracelet.
It's just standing straight up in the middle of the floor. It almost looks like...
A handle. A trap door. No stairs, no ladder. I can't see into the darkness.
Old houses like this built their storm cellars right underground, and the doors were inside the house. But if this house is still standing, maybe someone built another access door on the outside.
So we can escape to the other side.
Maybe, but I don't know. Something's wrong. This place doesn't look like it's had anyone in here for a long time. Look at the dust.
Standing here talking isn't gonna get us anywhere. I think there's still some rock climbing stuff in my backpack from my trip a few weeks ago.
Did you clean that thing out at all before you moved?
Nope. And see how handy it is? Okay, I'm gonna rappel down. My cord's not very long, but it shouldn't be that far down.
Be careful. What? What do you see?
I don't know how to explain it. It's a giant cavern. And it's got rock formations that look like mountains that go on for miles. There's a city of glass at the center with a bunch of glowing orbs lighting it.
What? What are you even...
Ah!
Hello, everybody. I'm Garrett. I am one of the co-hosts of Oz Talk, and I am here today with PJ Scott Blankenship. He's the writer, creator, director, and one of the stars of the really fabulous podcast, Hit the Bricks. Hi, PJ. Welcome.
Hi, thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. Okay, so the first thing I always like to ask people is how did you discover Oz?
This is going to be a really boring answer. Unfortunately, it was like discovering that you have like a nose. It's always there.
Uh-huh.
I think part of it was just that because I was born in the very early 90s, there was still that saturation of Wizard of Oz stuff from the 50th anniversary. And it was just kind of there when I came into the world and I absorbed it. But the funny thing is, like, after I'd gotten a little bit older, as soon as I became like cognizant of the world around me, I was in like a unique position to be like inundated by a bunch of like formative Oz stuff. So like the library down the road had like a first edition of the annotated Wizard of Oz, seeing Return to Oz on VHS, and all these weird like rare things just kind of sprung up for me.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, like there was no going back.
Very cool. So the podcast is a very inclusive, all brand new sequel to predominantly the Baum books. I don't know if you've got any plans for Thompson or not, but it does seem to be primarily off of the Baum books. So what prompted you to start the podcast? What set you on this journey?
Well, I mean, for one thing, one of the great things about the Oz community is that anybody that becomes an Oz fan, it almost seems like they have to create something Ozzy. Mm-hmm. It's a pretty well-worn saying in the Oz community that in every Oz fan, there's an Oz story. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that was true for me as well. And I saw all these different authors take up the Oz mantle. And as like a pre-adolescence, the story of Jessie and her friends started bubbling in my head, like when I was, like 13, 14. I started scribbling like little like miniature episodes of Hit the Bricks, but at the time it was something totally different. But the characters stayed the same and their situations stayed the same. And then as an adult, I was in a position where I could actually do something with this idea. Mm-hmm. And I have a lot of peers in the audio industry, and they were making podcast fiction at the time. And I thought my story could fit that medium pretty well. And it would be a good way for Oz to kind of go back to its roots and being like a dramatic, like old-timey show, mm-hmm. but for modern audiences, which I think is something that Baum would have loved.
So with this, and this is one of the things I actually really admired, is you did some crowdfunding so that you could raise the funds to help offset some of the costs, but also to help pay your performers, which I think is fantastic. There's a lot of cases where artists do these things and they get, it's for experience, but you can't eat experience. No. So what was your experience crowdfunding like?
Well, I'm glad that you bring that up, because like for me, like one of our mission statements is that, you know, everybody gets paid. Mm-hmm. And that's just how it is. There's so many great, well thought out campaigns that just don't make their goal. Mm-hmm. So I undershot it, and we made more than what we set out to. But even then, like that barely covered half, and the rest I had to pay for out of pocket, which I didn't mind. Mm-hmm. But it taught me a lot of like valuable lessons of like who to expect to show up if we do it again. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, like scale is probably, if anybody is interested in crowdfunding, and if what you want to get out of this question is essentially, you know, like how do I best crowdfund a project, specifically in Oz One? Like know what you're offering, make sure that you have a really good proof of concept. Even if you don't have like a finished product, like still be able to show that like you can do this. The Tin Woodman stop motion animated film is the first one that comes to mind. I forget what it's called. But it crowdfunded around the same time Hit the Bricks did, I think. It was on the cover of Bomb Bugle not that long ago. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they didn't have to show the movie finished, but they were able to show off, like, the maquette of the Tin Woodman and stuff. Mm-hmm. And, you know, if what you're crowdfunding is Oz-related, reach out to the Oz community. I wish that I had been a little bit braver and had more friends in the Oz community at the time, because I think that not for the money, but I think that there are more Oz fans that really would have liked Hit the Bricks and wanted to participate earlier on. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and admittedly, I was one of the ones who slept on it, and I shouldn't have. And I should have learned my lesson with other things of don't sleep on it, because I end up regretting it. And it's truly I've done nothing but rave about it since I listened to it. So Definitely, and we'll plug it. We'll say this again towards the end, I'm sure. But if you haven't listened to it, I can't recommend it enough. Which sort of leads to the next question of when you started planning this podcast, when you started the writing, what parameters did you set for yourself in regards to Oz and what you were going to use canon-wise? Did you set, okay, I'm only going to work from this, or were you more open with it?
I'm probably going to start ranting with this question if I do. But that's such a layered topic, because even if you say, okay, I'm only going to do the first book or Baum's 14 or whatever, there are lots of little concessions that you have to make, even if you try to be accurate to the page. Mm-hmm. Baum was a fantastic writer, but he was not particularly prolific, and he was not consistent all the time. So there are a lot of let's just say that consistency is not something that they were really aiming for in the early 1900s when it came to children's literature, which is fine. Mm-hmm. Not what like modern audiences demand. And if you're building a new show off of like an existing canon, you have to figure out the way that you're going to interpret it. Mm-hmm. So for me, the most important thing was to look at Baum's books and say, like, what is the most important thing to take from this? What can I distill to make a cohesive canon that will make sense to Oz fans? Mm-hmm. But moreover, like, how am I going to treat this as the word of God, or am I going to treat it as like a mythology? Mm-hmm. And I kind of ended up somewhere in the middle, where the grand scheme of it is more of like, we are building off of the mythology of this long-standing series, but whenever we show scenes from the books, they do tend to be almost verbatim how they're written in Baum's books, if we can help it.
And one of the things I think you do so well with that is you've got the two timelines going that are helping to, and without spoilers, you've got the timeline that's setting up all the sort of preamble running at the same time as Jesse and Wallace and Lurleen are making their journey to try and rescue Dorothy and ultimately rescue Oz. Which I guess we should probably also preface, for those who have not listened, the podcast centers around Jesse and Wallace, who are two cousins who live in Kansas, who are inadvertently taken to Oz, and they discover that Dorothy's missing, Ozma's missing, and pretty much the entire main crew that we know of have all disappeared. And they sort of end up being forcibly tasked into rescuing Oz in order for themselves to get back home. And there have been encounters with some well-known figures. We've seen the Wogglebug, we've seen Jack, we've seen Mr. Tinker. So we've seen lots of really great, fun little cameos while they attempt to resolve this quest. That's one of the things I really appreciate, is you've got you've got the two timelines running that give us that backstory and let us in on, well, this is kind of the mythos of Oz that we're working with, while you're still continuing the main story forward.
I mean, I appreciate that. I'm such a huge Oz fan to begin with, even if it's something that's like not predominantly good or well received, like there's still a special place in my heart for any kind of Oz adaptation that tries. Mm-hmm. So you'll see little like winks and nods to those throughout the show.
It's very, very clever and very well done story crafting. And you also include some songs, which I'm not going to lie, Hit the Bricks the title song is overly catchy. like several, I had to go back and listen to it a couple of times because I enjoyed it that much. So what prompted you to want to add in songs? And you've got some songs that are, more in the traditional musical genre. You've got the cast singing them, but you've also got some actual background songs. So what prompted that idea and addition to it?
I think that when the decision was made to make this story an audio drama, using the audio medium to the fullest extent possible became like my priority. I'm a huge music person. I love musical theater. I love music in general. so weaving that into the story was going to be second nature. But Oz is just a musical place.
Mm-hmm.
And not even literally like talking about the musicals that have been on Broadway and the fact that the MGM movie is a musical, but I mean, like, even in Baum's books, people forget, but the characters do break out into song every once in a while, particularly the Scarecrow, which I don't know why I didn't give him a song earlier. I'll have to fix that later. But yeah, knowing that this was a way also for the characters to convey things in a diegetic sort of fashion without being too hokey, like reading into the music of it was a way for them to get these things across without betraying any kind of sense of propriety. So, they could talk about things that are weighing heavily on their mind, and it's not particularly out of character because it's a musical.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also inspired by shows like Over the Garden Wall and Steven Universe and Adventure Time, which are very modern animated shows, but the characters just break out into songs
Yes.
sometimes. And it's fine.
That was one of the things I thought of with the music was it, in a good way, reminded me of Over the Garden Wall, which I thought was fabulous and very Baumian.
I think that they're very much related. And I love that show.
Yeah, no, that I've watched it more times than I want to admit, probably. But yes, no. So it was that was one of the things that sort of stood out to me as I was listening was it had that sort of same feel, which I really loved. So what goes into sort of making the episodes? How long does one specifically take? What's actually involved in the creation and actually producing of the podcast?
For season 1, from draft to publish, it took about 9 months per episode to produce. That's not like consecutively, but when you add it all up, like episode to episode, each one would take about 9 months. The first thing that happens is I sequester myself off into some little corner and I write. And then after that, once everything is settled, we go to the actors and we record with them. We usually do 2 episodes a session for the actors if they're in them. And then after that, we will do the music last, and the music gets mixed one song at a time. And the music is usually finished by the time the rest of the episode is edited together, which line selection and editing the episodes together and doing the sound effects and everything takes like about a month. And then adding in the music on top of that takes about another week or so. And then it's ready to go up. And that, is not counting the art and social media and stuff like that.
Who does y'all's art? Is that...
These days, our artist's name is Chandler Candela. I will superimpose his screen name over the screen right now. He's a professional artist and animator. He's super talented. Sometimes he takes commissions, so if you're interested, watch for him to put up his commissions and go buy stuff from him. But he's great. He's been a really cool partner, and you're going to see some new art, including the new poster that he made for this event. Which
nice.
Is when we're recording, but you'll see it on screen probably at the beginning of this.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to that. So one of the things that I really appreciate, and you touched on this a little bit earlier, was that you've made this so inclusive. And I know that was because I remember when you were sort of announcing it, I remember you made that very, very clear that was something you wanted to really achieve. And I was hoping you could speak a little more to that, about how you were, what you had, were there any additional steps to take to make it so inclusive, or did it just flow organically?
It's not like I had a checkbox. It was like, okay, so this character is going to be disabled. This character is going to be played by, a Black person, an Asian person. It was a situation of like, I knew what the characters were, especially characters of my own design and creation. And that kind of came from personal experience. And I have a very diverse life and group of friends. I think most people in the Oz community wouldn't bat an eye at like a gay guy creating an Oz thing. But it goes deeper than that. And I think that a lot of people
they claim certain Oz characters for themselves, and it becomes like a commonplace thing. So I don't think Baum intended for Ozma to be regarded as trans, but the fact of the matter is, like, she did transform genders.
Yes.
A lot of people like claim Ozma as part of the trans family.
Mm-hmm.
So why not? You know, like that's a canon thing.
Mm-hmm.
By our modern interpretation, that's not incorrect. So
Mm-hmm.
that's something we're going to see in Hit the Bricks at some point. But also Ozma's kind of reckoning at being like coerced into changing from Tip into Ozma against her kind of will initially is also going to be brought up. We have plenty of people that work with us who, neurodivergent.
Mm-hmm.
We work with people who are disabled. We have people who are advisors over
Mm-hmm.
disabilities. Earlier on, we had someone as an advisor for like prosthetics because of Jacoby. We want to make sure that those sorts of things were handled not just correctly, but in a fantastical setting. We wanted to make sure that there was a balance between like, this is something that's real and should be represented, but this is what it would look like in a fairy tale world. But when it came to casting the characters, we put out an open audition that just said, your only task is to read this selection from the Oz books, which was the scene where Dorothy and her friends stop at the house outside the Emerald City to spend the night. And that told me more about the actor than having them audition for specific parts. And that's, for the most part, how we cast the show. I will say in the case of Dorothy, I did specifically say I want her to be played by a Black actress, which is kind of out of spite because way, 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 way back in the day, the Muppets Wizard of Oz had Ashanti play Dorothy.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some forums at the time where people were really not happy about a Black actress playing Dorothy. I'm not going to say which forum it was, but someone said, Dorothy is a white girl through and through, like verbatim. And I was only a child at the time, but reading that made me so mad that I said, if I ever get the chance to do anything, Dorothy is going to not be white.
Well, and it feels very organic the way you've done it there. You've done a beautiful job of weaving it so organically and so beautifully that it doesn't ever feel like, it never feels like tokenism.
I have to credit all of the different people who have worked on that, because my perspective towards communities that I'm not involved in only goes so far. But special things to all the people that who work on the team. I don't have time to list all of them, and some of them would rather not be listed for fear of being outed, but having a diverse group of people working with you on it is more important than anything, because then they will bleed into the overall thing.
Really, I cannot rave about it enough. Beyond, I know I told you, obviously, as I was listening to it, I was messaging you, giving you my running commentary, but there were other people I was like, y'all, you need to listen to this. No, really, you need to be listening to this. Have you listened to it yet? So I think it's really a terrific podcast. And like I said, I loved season 1. What can we expect in season 2? When can we expect season 2 theoretically?
Well,
if that's not too much of a hot spot.
It's not a hot spot. It's just it's a lukewarm spot, if anything, because the show takes forever to make. I'm writing right now, but everybody that works on it, they have big paying projects, and not that we don't pay them, but you know what I mean. Full-time jobs, including me, and so it's a very slow process. It didn't help that in the middle of the first season, COVID hit, and it just derailed everything. We're finally getting back up on our feet. I would expect a major update about season 2 before the end of the year, because it takes me the next couple of months to finish writing it and start recording. I'm sure that there will be some sort of crowdfunding announcement. But I think what the next season does that you're going to, appreciate is that now things are going to start paying off. Answers to the questions are going to start happening immediately. And once it starts, it doesn't really stop. And I think that when things are all tied together, people who like the story will appreciate it a lot more.
I think that sort of is all the questions I have. Hit the Bricks. It's available on Apple and Spotify, and is it available anywhere else?
It's basically available anywhere that you can listen to podcasts. And if it's not on your favorite podcatcher, we have the RSS feed up on the website, hitthebricks.com. So you can get it into your favorite podcatcher if it's not already there, and it'll bring it up and play it.
And something else you do as well is you make the transcripts available so that it's accessible for those who are, hard of hearing. They can go and they can read the transcripts.
Absolutely.
Another question for you. If someone wants to help, if someone wants to be a voice actor, someone wants to help with the editing, how can they go about doing that?
You can contact hello@hitthebricks.com. We basically have a rolling set of auditions because we only have the one prompt. And even though we're not actively casting like this second, we're always listening for new voices to bring into the fold. So at some point when we start recording again and looking for new voices, we will refer to the back catalog of auditions that we have. So the prompt, the slide, the emails, they're all over there. And of course, if you want to just contact us directly or just chat, there's also a Twitter @hitthebrickspod. And you can just send us a message there or write to us. We're also on Instagram under the same name.
Terrific. Awesome. Well, that sort of brings us to the end. Thank you so much, PJ, for being with me today. If you're not a member of the Oz Club, you should be. You can join at www.ozclub.org. It's a $35 membership for the year. There are escalating if you want to be more of a contributor. There's also a youth membership. You get 3 issues of the Baum Bugle, which is our fantastic magazine. You get invites to fabulous online events and other fun things that are coming when the new website launches. So you'll definitely want to come check it out. And we'll see you on that yellow brick road.
Thank you.
Thank you.